It was in 2019 when I first bought the domain foundations.com, and I incorporated the business Foundations Sacred Journeys. Now at the time I didn't have an offering, I didn't have a product, I didn't have anything, but I spent this $5,000 on this domain, which was not a small amount for me, like it's still some money, right? And I was just like, this calls to me, like there's something important about about this word, foundations. And it felt very personal to me and my journey. And in hindsight, looking back, I think it had to do with me becoming a grounded person, a grounded man in the world. I've always had this kind of connection to kind of like the seventh chakra, like almost like out of body kind of experience has come naturally. And it's become clear to me that a lot of my life path is about becoming more grounded in this world, grounded in my body, grounded here as a human being, as a man. And I want to tell you a little story about this and about doing things properly. So we do this every summer, me and my partner. We go out into the forests and we have ceremonies every once in a while. Just occasionally go and have ceremonies with plant medicines, specifically psilocybin mushrooms, which grows here in 𝗕𝘂𝗀𝗧𝗏𝗂𝗏. And it was in 2023, I believe, we went out into the forests and we set up on the river. I bring my instruments sometimes, like my harmonium or my guitar, and a little stove to make some tea. But really, at least especially for the first part, we'll sit and we'll just be in a meditation with the medicines. And these aren't, it's not a small dose. It might be like 5 grams or so. But we go out and we're doing this. I have a bunch of wood I've brought down to the river with me as well, so when it gets cold. So about 2 hours into this ceremony, my partner she's always blissed out. Like she's just blissed out in these meditations. And I tend to be a little more fidgety and agitated. Well, I don't even know if it's agitated, but I'm a little bit more movement around. That's why I like to sing and stuff during the ceremonies. But I get up about a couple hours in and I'm like, I'm gonna make some tea and I'm gonna build the fire. And I'm kind of multitasking, right? Kind of reflective of a lot of areas in my life, multitasking. And I start this process and 10 minutes in, I'm noticing that the fire's not exactly burning properly, like almost like it's wet wood, except it's dry wood. It's like, I know it's dry wood. And it starts smoldering and smoking and it's not really catching flames. So I'm in the medicine now quite a bit and I'm making tea and there's smoke, and the smokes, I'm really sensitive to the smell of the smoke, and now I'm like kind of embarrassed because my partner's there in a meditation and I'm like, I hope she's sensitive too as a person, and I'm like, I hope the smoke's not going to get onto her, and I'm like, what am I doing? So I kind of panic and I start trying to fix it, but then eventually I have to I start disassembling the fire. I'm like, this isn't working. So I get to the point like 5 minutes in where I have fully disassembled the fire and there's a bunch of smoldering wood like around where the pit was on the ground, and now I'm waiting for the smoke to go out and it's smoky everywhere now. And I am just kind of defeated and I'm like, what kind of an idiot can't build a fire with dry wood? And I'm just literally defeated. My hands go down on the ground. I'm just like, put my hands on the floor and I'm like, I'm not breathing very well at this point either. And I just bow down kind of in defeat. And this message, clear as day, comes through. Clear as day, just comes through from the earth, from the fire. It's like almost like all the elements are kind of getting together to just give me this clear message. And it's just like, do it properly. Like, build this fire with reverence. Don't be multitasking. Like, you're building the sacred fire. And I'm not like someone that's never done medicine work in my life. I know this. Like, this is something I know and I ought to be doing. And I'm just like, why am I needing to be reminded of this? But I'm not doing it with reverence. I'm not like taking my time to have the right intention. We are in a ceremony, and do this thing properly. Build it with the right structure. Build it with the right intention, with the right prayer, with your heart. Build it with your heart. Build it with presence. I'm not doing any of those things, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm getting emotional, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. But the message ripples through my life. Literally ripples through my life. This is not like this one thing. It's like do things properly, build stuff properly. So at the time, I was just starting to diversify into starting a second business, which ultimately ended up failing. So it's 2025 now. This was like back, late 2023. And that business failed. So that's a whole other video, but like that failed. I'm also at this time, in the first time in my life ever exploring polyamory. So I was coming out of this period of having 2 girlfriends. I'm still in it, I think, actually, like just at the tail end. And I'm like, that didn't work. Like, I hurt myself, I hurt the girls. I ended up not being not being a man at all that I was proud of. And that's a whole other video too, like lessons of that. But build things properly. Like in everything you're doing. When it comes to relationships, treat your partner properly. Learn to be a masterful partner. Before you go and have 2 partners, like you better be a damn good partner to one person if you're gonna plan on having 2 partners. Build your body properly, your fitness, how you develop physically. Do your spiritual practice. Find a way to pray in a good way, to be grateful for life in a good way. Build your business properly. Build your business from the foundation up. Do it properly. Take your time. Build for the long term. It takes 10, 15 years to build a healthy, good business. And so many of these things at the time I was not, I was doing okay, but like I was not really living the dharma of this foundations thing that I was attracted to so many years before. And I see this happening all over right now. Like, we aren't doing things in a good way, in a foundational way. There's so much stuff that's done half-assed, basically short-term thinking, short-term profits, short-term pleasure, not building foundationally, not building things with presence and reverence. And that's what this video is about, is if you're hearing this in your life and that calls to you, do things properly. Take your time. If you're gonna do it well, or don't do it at all. Don't even bother. Like, there's no point of doing things half-ass. It doesn't lead to a fruitful future. And so that's what this story is about. Having a strong foundation in your life will serve you, your family, and your community. See you in the next video.